So as a recap, fear doesn't exist. It's a product of your imagination. Create a distance from your mind and treat it like you own a computer. You tell the computer what to do, not the other way around. Regarding being anxious in your project, in your business, in your career, treat it as something positive. Treat it as a trigger. Treat it as something that shows you that you're on the right path, because you're getting out of your comfort zone and you're pushing yourself and challenging yourself to be a better person so that you can actually be successful with that project. So that's a good thing. Inverse those polarities. If you're relaxed, then it's bad, right? And regarding anxiousness in a relationship, learn to treat everybody, to see the best in everybody, and, embrace their negative points and limitations so that you don't get triggered by them, so that you don't have a negative interaction or relationship with anyone around you, and so that it can be the most conducive for everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Monica here. I'm back from the equator, that is India. I've been in a temple for 3 months, so yeah, I've got plenty of new info to help you guys, and it's time to get back to my business, right? Because time won't wait for no one. So, it's chilly out here, The equator, there were like 30 degrees, and now I'm trying to get adjusted to 7. So yeah, my body's going through major changes, but who cares when you have yoga, right? Okay, so let's get back to some useful things that I want to share with you guys. So today I want to talk about fear and anxiety and how to put those out of your life. Now, whether we're talking relationships, whether we're talking about these feelings in your business, in your career, however they appear within you, I want to help you understand how they're working and how to get rid of them. Because the worst thing that you can do is live in fear and anxiousness, So the first thing that you need to understand is that they don't exist, okay? Fear doesn't exist. So people keep asking me like Monica, how do we overcome fear? You cannot overcome something that doesn't exist. So the way to overcome it, if we're talking about it in those terms, is to not create it in the first place, because fear is just a product of your imagination. It's just a product of your overactive mind, right? So you need to understand and treat it for what it is. So don't think like how to overcome fear. There's nothing to overcome. You don't create fear because you create it in your mind, right? Now, I know, easier said than done. So how to not create it in the first place? Well, why do you create it? You create it because you're identified with your mental faculties. That's the only way in which you can create fear. Because if fear doesn't exist and you create it out of nothing, then if you're not identified with your mind, you're not going to create fear, right? So, in order to not be identified with your mind, you need to create a distance between you and your mind. I've been saying this again and again. Create a distance between you and your mind. Now, what does this distance mean? Because people are having trouble with coming to grip with this, right? So, how to create this distance? Well, imagine like let's say that I bought a computer today, right? I bought a computer and I'm using it for my work, right? Let's say I'm doing some research and I'm using my computer for my work. Now, as long as I'm using my computer, I'm in charge of it, and I know what to do with it, and I know how to do my projects. It's going to sustain me, and it's going to help me, and it's not going to cause any problems. Now, imagine if one day I wake up and I'm like, I am my computer. Now, that's a little crazy. Now, if I'm going to think that I am my computer, I will not be able to use it because I'm not my computer. So that's how the mind works. You need to understand that the mind is something that you should choose how to use, that you discipline, that it doesn't tell you what to do. It doesn't have the power to tell you what to do unless you get identified with it. So once you create that distance from your mind, then you're going to see that fear is just a product of your imagination and it doesn't exist. So that's how you deal with fear. Now, about being anxious. People are having a lot of troubles nowadays with not being anxious. So whether we're talking about relationships, or we're talking about being anxious in whatever project that you're doing in your business or in your career. Now, being anxious, just like fear, is not real. So you need to see, where is it coming from, right? Why am I anxious? So let's say you have a project that you're working on, and all of a sudden you're anxious, and what is that going to do to you or your business or whatever project you're in? It's going to make you more capable or less capable? Less capable, of course. It's going to make you less capable. And when you're going through something challenging, whether it's your business or your career, well, that's when you need your capability the most, isn't it? So you need to cut out this anxiousness. And you need to see that this anxiousness actually is just a matter of how you perceive it, right? Like, it's you actually getting out of your comfort zone, right? Because when you're advancing in your business or in your career or in whatever project you're doing it, if you're becoming anxious, that means that you're getting out of your comfort zone. So that's a good thing, guys. I mean, that's when you're growing the most. That's what you should do. That's the sign that you should keep at it. You know, whenever I get anxious in my business, I'm like, wow, I must be on the right track, right? Because that's when you grow the most. I mean, if I do something that makes me completely comfortable and relaxed regarding my business, I'm not talking about leisure here, right? Then I'm like, okay, I'm doing something wrong here. I must be doing something wrong. So you need to revert these polarities, like anxiousness and relaxation. Anxiousness is when you get out of your comfort zone, and that should excite you. That should make it fun. That's when the fun should begin. And if you try it a couple of times, you will see that anxiousness should not be something perceived as negative, right? So the same for relationships. Let's say, you know, if you're anxious in any kind of interaction with people, now whether that relationship is a friendship or a business partner or, you know, relationship, a love affair or a friendship or a stranger on the street. So whatever the nature of that relationship is, the minute that anxiousness interferes, you should look at it and understand that it's not coming from the right place, you know, like, because if you're anxious in a relationship or if you're anxious in any kind of interactions with people, well, that means that you're not really having a relationship. You're not really having an interaction with those people. You know, you're more like reacting to them. You're in a reaction mode. So whenever you get triggered by their limitations, because that's how limitations work, I see a limitation in you that reminds me of a limitation in me subconsciously, and I get triggered. So then I go crazy for a while. So that's how people go crazy. That's what happens when you get triggered by others' limitations. But that's just a mirror in yourself, right? So, hold on. A lot of circulation here compared to the temple I've been coming from. So you need to see that you have to actually embrace their limitations. You have to see that everybody has positive and negative things within them, and you need to stop getting triggered by them and embrace them instead. Embrace their limitations, embrace their negativity, and then you will take that relationship where you want to take it. You will take that interaction where you want to take it, and you will have the kind of interaction that is most conducive for both sides, right? If you just get triggered compulsively by people and they get triggered by you, then everybody's gonna go mad and nobody's gonna get anything, right? So embrace their negative points, because really it's just a mirror in yourself. So that's how you deal best with interactions with people and not get anxious. So as a recap, fear doesn't exist. It's a product of your imagination. Create a distance from your mind and treat it like you own a computer. You tell the computer what to do, not the other way around. Regarding being anxious in your project, in your business, in your career, treat it as something positive. Treat it as a trigger. Treat it as something that shows you that you're on the right path, because you're getting out of your comfort zone and you're pushing yourself and challenging yourself to be a better person so that you can actually be successful with that project. So that's a good thing. Inverse those polarities. If you're relaxed, then it's bad, right? And regarding anxiousness in a relationship, learn to treat everybody, to see the best in everybody, and, you know, embrace their negative points and limitations so that you don't get triggered by them, so that you don't have a negative interaction or relationship with anyone around you, and so that it can be the most conducive for everyone. So that's what I had for you today. I'm sorry I'm a little bit rushed. I have a meeting after this. So I hope this suits you, and let me know in your comments if you need any more help. My Facebook page will be attached here. You can check it out and subscribe. Bye bye, take care, see you soon.